Welcome. As a follow-up to a previous video on painting white, today I'll be talking about another tricky color. No color is darker than black, which means that from it, as our darkest shadows, we'll have to build up lights without losing the notion of black. As well as fixing some spillover from other colors, I will be repainting everything black with my chosen base paint. Most of the times, the color of your primer won't match the one of your base paint, so we must first get a uniform black coverage. If you find this content useful, make sure to subscribe since I've been posting a video every 6 days since the beginning of the year, and I plan to continue till the end of it. For this paint job, I'll be highlighting using pastel green and a bit of khaki to transition towards it. While normally most people would use gray or white to highlight black, using a paint with a tint of color will create a more interesting result, and as an advanced note, can be used to set ambience on the model. Once I see a small change on the black, I begin to layer the first thin coat of paint. By placing the model under a lamp, I can see where the highlights should be placed. The change in tone is very small and it's even harder to see in the recording, but I'll stop to show you the transition from time to time. After adding a bit more khaki to the mix, I begin with the second coat. Here you can see the transition once dry. Remember to keep your paint thin and work in a smaller area from coat to coat. After 2 coats, you can see we're keeping it black, but there are different tones in it. While we could slowly build up the color this way through thin coats, I'll now move on to a speedier method. Here's another angle of how the folds in the front are coming up. Here is how the transition has been going so far. So, in order to speed this up, I'll begin adding pastel green to the mix, which will end up giving us a proper gray. This will create a big jump, which we'll fix later. For now, remember to apply it in a smaller area within our previous coat, and in the harsher edges to use the brush sideways. You can still keep the transition smooth if you work with thin paint, but I'll be adding even more pastel green for a brighter light, which I won't follow all the way. I'll keep this final edge only towards the upper parts or the ones which catch the most light. Here is how much I pushed the lights. It is now time to fix up the smoothless highlighting. Keep in mind that the insides of the robe were left as they are since they are in shadow. I will dilute my base black paint with a lot of water and apply a consistent even coat all over the black. This will work as a filter which will easily tie up the harsh transitions. Once dry, the harsh lights are gone, but a difference with the shadow is still left behind. You can do a second application if any harsh transitions still remain. If you have a black ink at hand, we can actually go even darker because of the high pigmentation of the inks compared to the base color. I'll apply a coat on my deepest shadows. Once dry, you can see a slight darkening on them. After basing the model, I painted the rim black before adding this guy's companion. All in all, we can build up the transitions thin and smoothly or tone them down through a filter of diluted black. Either way, next time you paint black, try staying away from plain gray and white. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next week.